Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. 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 Turn this off. Oh, I'm so always so happy when it's Monday and I get to be back with you. And can I wave at you? Can I wave? Hello. I'm so happy that it's Monday and I get to come back and spend time with you and we can be together. So it's sort of grounding and uh I should need a haircut. Sort of grounding and healing, and I know it's good for all of us to be together. So I'm so excited for you to be here. Hi, Ursula. Hi, Harley. Hang in there. Oh, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to do for our friends who are new. I'm so happy that you're here. We spent a few minutes with. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm always so honored when you choose to share me with your friends and people you're connected with. Thank you. Our practice here, especially for our new friends, is to spend some time with channeled information. I welcome in spirit. I welcome in information for them to share with me for you of whatever it is that we need to know. And then we'll look at the cards. I always like to look at the cards after they give me the opportunity to just sort of bleh out whatever they've put in my head. Because I always find the cards to be so unbelievably confirming. And I think that is so important. Because when we look at cards, whatever kind of cards you may be looking at, it's sort of this tangible, thing to say, yes, this is confirming what we just said, especially when we talk about taking time to ground, and then you pull up a card that says ground. It's like, oh, well, okay, clearly there's confirmation in that. So for me, it's really important that we have some time to connect with each other and to build our energy and to share what's going on in the universe and what's going on in our world. And then we will definitely have time, Harley, for questions and mini readings before we close, I promise. So I'm so happy for you to be here, and I'm so delighted for you to be sharing me. So save your questions, and absolutely, please remind me, Harley, if I get distracted at the end, because light workers were a little ADD. Just be like, hey, me, and I promise we'll come back to you. So I always like to make sure we get everybody covered before we leave. So I'm gonna start today, as I have been for the last couple of weeks, with um, this new deck that I am really fond of. This is Colette Baron Reed's newest deck. This is the Oracle of the Seven Energies, and I really love having the opportunity to say, okay, which of our energy centers really needs some attention from us today? And hello, yay! That's wonderful, Robin. I'm so delighted. You've got psychic mediumship and Mary Kay all in the same box. So I always like to start with some cards. And so I've been really enjoying Colette's new deck, Oracle of the Seven Energies. And so I feel like it gives us an opportunity to really pay attention and tune in to where we need to be focusing our energy, not just for releasing, but for receiving. Where is it that the universe is really trying to connect with us and get our attention through what chakra, through what energy center in the body? And so I love this because this really could not be more accurate. This is between the land between, and this is really into the third eye and up into the crown chakra. And so really for me, and I'm going to read what she has to say about it for a second, at least a little bit, but for me, really, this land between, it gives us the opportunity to remember that we have a choice, that we can choose to tune in, we can choose to stay connected with what is going on out there, we can choose to stay connected to CNN or Fox News or whatever, or we can choose to stay connected to the above, to the energy of spirit, of source. And so for me, I'm always really very interested in staying connected to the energy of source. And I think that that's super, super important that, we understand this is a choice that we can choose if we want to get connected with spirit or do we want to get connected with politics. Now, I'm not one of those people that's like, I just tune it all out. I want to know what's going on in the world. I want to be part of what's going on in the world. But at the same time, I also want to remember all things work together for good. There is a plan to the universe. Spirit has us covered. Source has us, and that there is a higher power connected to us. And so let me just read this to you really quickly about the land between. It says, you are in a process of change. You know that you were called to it and you can no longer be who you were, but you aren't quite sure what the next experience of your life will be. You are in the between stage and what could be called the pupa stage, like during the metamorphosis of a caterpillar or butterfly. Now, I love this because we have been talking, if you've been following me for any kind of time, we have been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks about the fact that humanity, our world right now, is in a stage of, Robin, thank you so much for posting that. I appreciate that so much. We are in a state of transformation and transition. We 100% are. We are watching humanity struggle right now to emerge from the cocoon, from the chrysalis, to decide what kind of, I gotcha, to decide what kind of humanity we want to be. And it's not just humanity as a whole, but it's us individually as well. I met a new person today who had such a wonderful experience. My younger son wants to get his first tattoo, and I'm just so, I know it sounds weird, but I'm excited for him. And I'm not ink free, so he has my blessing. He knows that, and because I have been in that chair, I want to make sure that he gets the right person, because having that relationship of a person who's going to put something permanent on your body is really important. So we asked around for a while and got lots of different recommendations, and I said, go talk to these people, text them, look at their work, look at their website, see what resonates. And so finally we went today for an actual consultation with the person he picked. And while we were there, and so was referred by a friend who is a client of mine. We do, has been very supportive of my work, both this work and Mary Kay work, for years and years, friends for a long time. And we get there and we start talking, and he starts talking about metaphysical and being an empath and getting signs from the universe and hearing voices and seeing stuff. And then he starts talking about manatees and kayaks. And my son looks at me and we both kind of looked and we're like, all right, well, I guess he's the guy. So, we had this lovely consultation, and all of this is signs from the universe. And so the question that was asked to me by somebody else today was, how do you know, do you set down and have this intention of, I'm going to have a relationship with spirit now, or is it just part of your life? And one of the things that this gentleman said to me is, it happens to him so often that he doesn't really get, he doesn't stop and go, oh, spirit. He just goes, oh, okay. And he goes on with his life. And that's really where we're aiming. Hi, welcome, Dorothy. That's really where we're aiming, because we want to build such a trusting relationship with spirit that really they're with us all the time, because they are anyway, whether you're paying attention or not. But allowing that information to feed into you and to lead you and to guide you as like a hand on your shoulder, that becomes a part of who you are. And so we're watching as more and more people are waking up to this. There's something more going on in the universe, and there's something in the land between. Where am I? Where was I? And for a lot of us, you can even say, where was I pre-COVID? And where do I want to go? And what kind of a person do I want to be? What kind of a human, what kind of a spirit human relationship do I want to have with myself, with my higher mind, and with all of that that is above me? And I don't mean like better, I just mean in the higher realms of what kind of a relationship, what kind of a connection do I want to have to all of that? And so many people are waking up to this, which is why we see so often that we are having all of the, the drama and the trauma that's going on, especially in American politics. If you are here in the United States, and we've been saying it's going to get worse before it gets better, but we've only got a few more weeks to go. But so many people are waking up to understanding that as we are struggling right now, and this is where we are. We're in this time of struggle, of struggling to break out of the chrysalis that we have been in as a human race. What kind of people do we want to be? What kind of relationships do we want to have, not just to each other, but what kind of relationships do we want to have to the higher? And the more that you can welcome them into your life, into your everyday, the more blessing they can bring to you. I can't even explain the blessings that have come down on us. Hi, Carrie Costa. Welcome, welcome. Lisa's one of my favorite people. I can't even begin to explain the blessings that have rained down on us. And I sit and I talk to my husband regularly and I say, I understand that COVID is a massive crisis. It is a massive crisis, and that people are suffering all around the world with this. And yet I look at what's going on in our little microcosm, and I want to just bawl my eyes out with gratitude, because the relationship that you build with spirit, with source, call it whatever you want, the more you can trust and bring that into your life. Hi, Debbie, welcome. The more you can bring that into your life, the more the blessings can literally explode. And what happens is the more those blessings can explode into your life, the more good things that you can do for other people in your life. It is amazing when you shift your mindset and when you understand that as you are struggling to break out of the chrysalis from this land between, this is a choice. It is a conscious choice. Gratitude is a choice. Loving kindness is a choice. The kind of people we want to be, the energy we want to exude to people around us is a choice. And if you followed me for any kind of time, you've heard me talk about the ripples on the water. And I literally sat, in here in the southeast United States, it's been raining a lot. And so we've had, we pray for the people in New Orleans and the Panhandle and Mobile that have been dealing with hurricane after hurricane, because here in Central Florida, we remember 2004, we remember hurricane after hurricane after hurricane. And I sat in the kayak with my husband while we were doing a manatee observer shift maybe a week ago in the pouring rain under a tree. And I literally just was mesmerized by watching the ripples on the water. Because if you follow me at all, I've talked about the ripples on the water all the dang time. So I drop a pebble into the water over here and ripples come out. And then you drop a pebble in the water over here and ripples come out. And our ripples hit each other and they create more ripples, and they go out into the world and create more ripples. And I literally sat in the kayak under the tree watching the raindrops make that exact thing happen. And I was just absolutely mesmerized by the beauty of it, but of the profundity of the fact that what we are talking about is being mirrored in our real lives if we can stop and look at it. And so the more you can bring spirit in, the more you can create that relationship with your higher self, with your spirits, your guides, your angels, your loved ones in spirit who are so there to help you. And the more you can cultivate that relationship and lean into it and trust that they have only your highest and best good in mind, always. And when you lean into that, the more you can lean into that, and you open your heart to them and you open your mind to them, not the rational mind, the trusting spirit child mind that knows that angels are real. And the more you can lean into that, the more they can move the blessings and the cogs of the universe for you. And I left the gear thing in the other room. I bought the gear so we could see. Last week I was drawing really terrible pictures. But I bought the little toys of gears and then I left them in the other room. So at some point I will remember to bring those things out of the reading room into the office for a Monday. Okay, so trusting the universe, trusting the universe. All right, so they're telling me we're going to skip our goddess power card today for the moment. We're going to come back to goddess power in a minute. We're going to jump right into the oracle cards because there's more they want to share on that. So we're going to jump into that. Debbie Spice, you're going to have to come back and visit and meet C. Riley. He's 6 pounds now. This baby kitten. I'm not sure where he is, but if he shows up, I'll put him on camera. 6 pounds now. Debbie rescued the sweetest little white and black kitten. Was like a pound and a half, 2 pounds, and now he's Bigger, 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 bigger. All right. So, okay. So here, this is exactly what I was talking about. And you all heard me just shuffle the cards. That's what that noise was. And so here is where I'm talking about where I like to let them talk through me. And then we allow the cards to come up because they're going to pull the right card. So I don't know if you can see this, but it says transformation. So, hello. The cards are never wrong. Hi from South Africa. How spectacular. Welcome. So the cards are never wrong. The cards are always right on point, and the cards talk about exactly what they are trying to get across to us. So here's transformation. Things are changing at the deep cellular level for deep healing, and how much of that, again, is up to us. We choose to lean into that. We choose to trust and lean into this relationship with spirit, to have a relationship with spirit. Let me see if I can find, there's not really, my husband, I think, is walking around somewhere. If I can find him, I'll see if he can get the kitten. But Toby is here. Toby is sleeping in my desk drawer right here. I have Toby sleeping in my drawer. So, okay, so then the next card that I pick is the Age of Light. The Age of Light. And so, I mean, you have been training for this for lifetimes. And there are so many people who think that that's really the truth. And we have talked before about as humanity has been evolving through the chakras over the last 150 years, as humanity has been moving through the chakras really from longer than 150 years, but really as we came through the industrial revolution and building automobiles and factories and roads and all kinds of things into the root chakra, the base chakra, which is the grounding and where do I live, what do I eat, food, shelter, lodging, that physical safety, security that we had all the way up into the 20s. And then we had come into the 30s and 40s, and we have the sacral chakra, which was the beginning of music and rock and roll and dancing, and then into the wars, into the world wars. And then we come into our solar plexus chakra, which is so much about who we want to be, which comes in through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, which was all about self-love and the flower children and really redefining who we want to be. And then we start to move into, and then, and none of this is like cut and dry. If you heard me talk about energy, you know that it is not stuff that energy doesn't open on a dime, energy doesn't close on a dime. So these are things that open and close. And so as we move in through the 70s, and still we got into the heart chakra, right? And then into the 80s and 90s, into the heart chakra of being our own independent person, and still having some of that with the solar plexus. And then we got into the Me Too and the time of using our throat chakra. And that is so much of where we are right now, is the heart chakra and the throat chakra, of people finding their voice and people standing up. Hi, everybody. And people standing up to say, enough. We want something different. We are in the land between. We want something different than what we have been having all this time. We want a change, and that has to happen with us. Transformation. This starts with us. Okay, so that we are moving into the age of light. But remember what I said before. This is a conscious choice. This is all about our choice of saying, what kind of a person do I want to be? What kind of a world do I want to live in, as I am pushing myself out of the chrysalis of this time of transformation? So much of it is up to us. And when we spend time immersed in the politics and the news and all the stuff that's going on, we can lose sight of the fact that this is all part of a higher plan. Okay, I'm not saying don't know what's going on. I am pro-choice. I am a woman who supports the LGBTQIA community. I support Black Lives Matter. I'm a Jewish woman. I'm a white woman, so I know I don't have a lot of places to say minority. But as a Jewish person watching what's going on in our society right now, we all have a place where we can put the label of other on us. And it is so important to know what's going on out there in the world, but it's also important to understand the layers, okay? Like a cake, you have a cake and then you have the frosting and then you have another layer of cake and you have the frosting on top. Or the tapestries, we've talked about the tapestries before, where we have the beautiful picture of the tapestry is on top, except that's what spirit is seeing looking down on it. And from us, we're looking at the underside with all the knots and the twists and the threads going back and forth. It's like a big old mess down there. But we're looking at it from this side. So we're seeing the messy part. We're not seeing the beautiful picture that's being created from above. And so we have this opportunity. Just lost where I was going with that. Come on, guys, give me that back. So I'm not saying thank you. I'm not saying don't be connected with what's going on in the world and don't take a stand and don't speak out for what you believe is right. Do all those things. But at the same time, understand that all those things are the bottom piece of the tapestry, the bottom part of the cake, the soggy part. All those things are down here, and they all are working together to create the beautiful tapestry that we see on the top. So even though it looks a mess down here, all of this is an important part of creating the beautiful tapestry that we are creating. And that is really, really important. Okay. So yes, Debbie, he is getting to be a big boy and such a cutie and a real snuggler too. I gotta say that. Okay, so then the third card that pulled up that I've been waving around is Soul Family. Soul Family, and we've seen Soul Family coming up a lot. We've seen Soul Family coming up a lot. And the reason that Soul Family is coming up so much is because this is a time for us to really grab onto the people who are embracing the light. This isn't about cocooning and staying in your, what do they call this bubble, or the opinion bubble, the people who think like you. I don't, I understand that that's a thing that exists, but I think we do ourselves a disservice when we tune out the voices of differing opinions. I feel like we have such an obligation to politely engage others in discourse, not necessarily to try and change their opinion, but just to let them know that other opinions are there and that we can have intelligent conversations without it devolving into anger and yelling. But it's so important in these times of challenge and strife and people coming together and not coming together. It is so important that we know where our soul family is so that we can tune back in when we need to ground, when we need to get connected back into love and gratitude. If we took a foray out into a protest or a march and we got something that was just, we got some kind of icky on us, we must know where and who our soul family is so we know who to tune back into so we can say, okay, here I am. This is, this is where the light is, because I want to say to you that no matter what is going on out in humanity, the part of that that's important is that is man. That is man, like not men, women, but that is human. Okay. That is human. That is not higher. And so for whatever is going on out there is of humans. And, I said this the other day and it really, really, they channeled it through me and it really stuck with me. If you stopped for a second and you thought about what priorities, if I asked you to grab a piece of paper and write down your top 5 priorities right now, what is the most important things that are in your life right now? Like, what do you have to do that is like so important? And then imagine, God forbid, that somebody that was close to you, had some sort of crisis. Would those still be the same priorities for you? Would those still be the same high priorities for you? Or would all of a sudden going to the grocery store or, reorganizing your spice rack go right out the window? And so what I'm asking you to remember is that the stuff that's going on out there, it's important to be aware and involved and be a voice for whatever you believe, but it is also important to connect back in with your soul family. And it's also important to know that all of these things are that part of the tapestry that are of humans and not of the universe. And so while we get sucked into, or we try not to get sucked into all the drama that's going on, all the drama is what is creating the beautiful tapestry. Because here's the thing, as we have been evolving through the heart chakra and into the throat chakra, where we are now of speaking our truth and being our most authentic selves and tapping into connection to spirit, the chakra that's next, and we're already seeing it come into that foray because people are waking up. So the chakra that's next, third eye, third eye chakra is next. And so people are waking up. People are looking around and going, wait a minute, there's something bigger going on, because who just saved me from getting hit by that tractor trailer? Or who just saved me, from this job that was terrible and plopped me into a job I never would have seen coming that I love to pieces? Or who just, so people are waking up to the fact that there is more going on. And so the thing that comes after the throat chakra is third eye, the ajna, the third eye. And so really leaning into that, the more we can lean into that relationship with spirit, the more that we can allow them access to create abundance and blessings in our life. And so I want to say that there was something else I wanted to say. What was it? Oh, come on, give it back to me. Because my brain just goes so fast when they're talking to me. Mercury retrograde. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Mercury retrograde is the other thing I want to talk about. So Mercury retrograde goes, if Mercury officially goes retrograde tomorrow. Okay. However, we are already feeling the effects, because remember, we've talked about before, energy is not like a light switch. It doesn't just go retrograde direct. Okay, no, it opens. And so the first 2 weeks before a retrograde happens and the 2 weeks after a retrograde happens, we can still be feeling those effects. And so here we are. We're going to have Mercury retrograde tomorrow, and retrograde is the opportunity to go back and look. Tracy, you're never late, my darling. Retrograde is the opportunity to go back and revisit something that we have done before, to do it again, to get it right, to do it different, to do it better, to undo it. So Mercury is the time to go back. And so if you have been finding things that are going on with you, like your computer's not working, your car's not starting, it seems like you're running into every red light, whatever it is, remember, it's the land between, okay? That they are trying to get you to see there is something else going on here, and we need you to pay attention to this so that you can understand what we're trying to show you, where we're trying to guide you, where we're trying to lead you, so you have the opportunity to make changes that can lead to those blessings, the blow up of blessings in your life. Okay, so as you move into retrograde, oh, I think Tracy, is that why you're giving me frowny faces, because of retrograde? So as you are moving into retrograde, it is so common for us to look at retrograde and just go, I don't want. And so I want to say to you, please try to keep your heart open to retrograde. Keep your mind open to retrograde. Think of retrograde as somebody with a different set of opinions, and that we don't want to shut down. We want to hear them. They're valid. They have reasons for the way that they feel, that they feel like that. We don't have to agree. But retrograde is trying to get you to see a different way. Okay. And so we do ourselves a favor by opening our mind and opening our heart to what retrograde is trying to show us, and allowing that to come forward. So look for the themes. And when things start to go wonky, what is it that's going wrong? What is it that's being challenging? And just start writing stuff down. This happened that was challenging. This was a disruption. This was an irritation. Write it all down, because look at it. Is it coming up to a past relationship, a family member, a job, a past, a connection that you had, a relationship that didn't end well, or that could have, that still has strife? What is it that retrograde is trying to show you? And when you can lean into that, you have this opportunity to release all of these things and mend things from your past, which frees you up to go forward. So here's the thing. Life is not this, straight up and down, kind of climbing, zigzaggy straight, kind of going up that way. It goes like this. So we go up in a spiral. So every time we come back around to the same kind of thing, just like we come back to Christmas every year, we come back around, but we come back around higher and higher, hopefully, because we're learning and we're growing and we're evolving ourselves every time that we're going forward. Okay, so please hear me. Retrograde is not a thing to be dreaded or feared, because the more we resist it, the more it has to bang us on the head to get us to open our mind. So welcome it. Just be calm about it. Allow retrograde to move in your life, because I promise you, even though it may feel like this is not for my highest and best good, I guarantee you that it is. And this is where the gears come in, right? We talked about this last week with the gears, where you have this gear has to turn, which means it's going to turn this gear, which may turn this gear that we don't like, but it has to turn this gear in order to get to this gear over here that we love. So Allow the universe to work for you. Okay, so that is what I feel like I want. Okay, goddess. Yes, I hear you. Goddess, goddess, goddess. We want to pull a goddess card to find out which goddess is going to be helping us and working with us as we go through this next week and as we go through the start of Mercury retrograde. Now, here's the good news. Mercury retrograde is short this time. It's short. It's going to end in the beginning of November. So the 4th or so of November, we'll start to see that shift. So it's just a couple weeks. Okay, it's not a long one. We've seen Mercury retrograde for a long time. So this is not a long one. And this is Athena, the goddess of knowledge, who's going to be watching out for us this week. Isn't she beautiful? These cards are so gorgeous. So Athena is going to be watching out for us this week, the goddess of knowledge. And so again, it is about opening your mind and allowing that information to flow. You know, the saying they have, knowledge is power, right? It is absolutely the truth. So we don't have to know everything. We just have to trust that the knowledge is being given to us as we need it. So trust, lean into that, lean into, and so we've been talking about this the whole time. So of course we picked the card of knowledge, of course, trusting the universe. So, okay, who has questions? Who has questions? Where's my friend, my new friend, Hallie? Are you still here, Hallie? Send me a little note that says you're still here with us and we didn't lose you somewhere. Harley, not Hallie, Harley. Send me a little note. Let me know that you're still here. And who has some questions? Let's do some questions. Let's make sure we get those questions answered. Carly, I hope you're still here because I feel like I have something to say. So I feel like there's something about a relationship with you, but I would love for you to chime back in. Let me know you're still here, so that I can feel your energy. What was the first card, Tracy? I love. So first card we pulled up, the land between. The land between. We're talking about the choice. Don't be sorry. No reason to be sorry. The choice between who we are and who we want to be, and the choice of how we live in love and gratitude, and had the choice of trusting the universe. And then we pulled up the card. We were talking about humanity being in transformation. And so, of course, transformation was the first card that we pulled. And then we also pulled in the age of light was the next card that we chose. And then the soul family was the last card, and then Athena as our goddess to be guarding us. So yet 2 weeks before and after the retrograde, Aaron, yes, but can Amy Adams be your angel? Well, that is personal choice. Humans have free will. I'm gonna let you work that out. But remember that energy has to ramp up and energy fades out. Okay, it is not like a switch. So yes, Mercury retrograde is, you can feel that effect of 2 weeks, but it's not like 2 weeks before. It's like blah. Okay, so it's moving in, and then we have the retrograde from the 13th to the 3rd or 4th of next month, and then it's going to fade back out again. So don't fear the retrograde. Please, if I leave you with no other message today, I want to leave you with, don't fear the retrograde. Welcome the retrograde to bring healing and change and shift into your life. That's what it is for. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Yes. Okay, terrific. Oh, I love you too. Mwah. Okay, so other questions that we have. Don't fear the retrograde. Don't fear the retrograde. Um, Other questions? Okay, and I want to hang out for another minute or so, but if there's not any other questions, then we will, as I will say, as always, how grateful I am for you to spend time with me on Mondays, to join in for 30 minutes of just channeled information, cards from the universe, really just to help us stay on track as we are going through these crazy, tumultuous times. We know here in the United States it's going to get a little crazier as we come into the time of the election. Please do not let that side rail you. Please stay connected to the earth, stay connected to spirit, to source. If you need to get out into nature, we all need to get out into nature. Even if you're just standing in the grass, put your feet in the grass, put your hands on the trees, spend some time, make sure you get grounded. If you're going to be, tuning into news shows, make sure that you do not carry that stuff with you. Make sure that you take that outside and you bring in the light and you release all that drama to the earth. Mother Nature uses that as fertilizer, and you touch the trees and you stand in the grass. I think I have taught before this very quick grounding exercise, especially when you can't always get out into nature. Take your middle fingers, put one on your third eye, and then That's true, Tracy. It does end election day. Put one on your third eye, put one in the top of your belly button, your middle fingers, just right in the top of the belly button, and then pull up just a little bit. You don't have to yank up on your belly button, but just pull up just a little bit. Close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. But you make this energetic connection when you put your fingers on your third eye and on your belly button, and you just pull up a little bit. It's a great grounding exercise, just super quick, something you can just do anywhere. You just go in the bathroom stall, just breathe, 90 seconds, just breathe, just breathe. It's a wonderful, quick way to ground yourself. If you can't get outside, you can't get to the trees and the grass, it is a great way to do. The universe is absolutely 100% always on point. Please join us again on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern. Right here, we will be doing our weekly meditation. Absolutely, Debbie, 100%. We'll be doing our weekly meditation. We do a little tiny discussion, a little bit of guided meditation, and then a few minutes of meditation on your own, especially for beginners, people who are not so comfortable with meditation, not so familiar with it. Is a great opportunity for you to come and learn and be able to build a meditation practice of your own. My goal is not to teach you how to be a guru, a Buddha, sit on top of a mountaintop. And my goal is to give you some very specific and usable bites of meditation techniques so that when you get stressed out in the day or you're feeling ungrounded, you have the opportunity to just go within, focus on your heart energy for just a couple minutes. And like Debbie says, sending those good vibes out there, receiving good vibes back in from the universe, and really allowing yourself to breathe free. It's amazing what meditation can do for your health, for your stress levels, for your weight, for your sleep patterns, all of it. So join me here, right back here on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Thank you, thank you, thank you for spending some time with me today. It is always the highlight of my week to spend time with you on Mondays. If you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to message me. And I wish you all so much love and light as we go forward. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay healthy, trust the universe, and just know that you are so very, very loved.